WWE finally brought back this Royal Rumble concept. I don't remember the last time we seen it. It's a ruthless aggression era thing. I don't think we ever saw that in the PG era. And it's about small things like that, man. I can tell Triple H is all about tradition. We got some funny moments like R-Truth picking, I assume, 19 because he asked, am I quarantined? We also saw other superstars picking numbers, and while it makes things a bit more predictable, you can tell she's not happy with her number. I think it's worth it, and at the end of the day, we all know these superstars are going to be in the Royal Rumble anyway. And it seems like it actually gets a lot of views on YouTube, which goes to show you fans appreciate that kind of shit. SmackDown was the last stop before the Royal Rumble, and the show was pretty decent. Although there's one thing I wanna talk about quickly. Hulk Hogan teased his Royal Rumble appearance again. Are we really going to? No. I'm not saying I'm gonna complain, I'm just saying that it's so unfathomable. But let's talk about SmackDown. LA Knight was a savage. We got new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bobby and the Profits looking like absolute stars, Trick Williams going to the main roster. Let's talk about that, but before, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Wrestling GM, where you can actually prove that you can book it better. Wrestling GM is the best wrestling simulation game in the world. The only game where you can be a business owner, TV show writer, and universe creator at the same time. Pick who fights, who becomes champion, manage each wrestler's career, write your own storylines and feuds, and even create your own wrestlers and companies. Find out why 250k plus players continually keep playing Wrestling GM. The game is very deep and the opportunities to play it are endless. It is the perfect mix of creativity and strategy. You can control and create all the outcomes within the game. I also played this game before on my channel. The playlist of Wrestling GM series is in the description below. Wrestling GM is available on all iOS and Android devices, and there's a link to download the game in the description below. Welcome back to another episode of Greatness of SmackDown. How are you, my loyal Maniacs, doing right now? You know, I realized I don't have a name for my audience. For Maniacs. Nah, the Greaties? Nah, oh. What you gonna do, Marks? The show kicked with the rapper and songwriter Eladio. You know, as SmackDown usually does. You know, he's boys with Randy Orton, so that's the whole idea. He welcomes everybody to SmackDown and introduces us to the Viper. Orton talked about Roman Reigns' record, but it says it doesn't matter. There's only one number that they need to think about. 15. I was like, oh yeah, I get it. He's entering at 15. No, stupid Great One. Stupid son of a bitch, stupid. He's going to become a 15-time WWE champion. Oh, that's what I thought, honestly. And he's going to beat them with an RKO. We see AJ Styles. You realize there's more people in the match? Asked for a match against Solo, and they gave the match to LA Knight. He also talked about his history with Randy Orton, and we see LA Knight. LA Knight says that Paul Heyman knows he's the biggest threat because out of all of us, he picked me to face Solo tonight. Then LA talked about Solo and said, I'm gonna hit him so hard, he'll start doing his dad's dance moves. And he did the moves, and Randy was impressed. Oh, and by the way, LA Matt got a huge pop from the audience, which makes me really happy because the roster is so stacked. I was like, maybe people are going to forget about the dude, but it seems like it's not the case at all. And also, Orton was impressed. He was like, holy shit, this guy is popular. So LA Matt leaves and AJ Styles attacks Randy Orton. Really looking forward to a match. Like I've said, I don't expect a title change. It's very predictable, but you know, I think it's better to have an entertaining fatal 4-way than a predictable one-on-one because we all know how it's gonna end. Jimmy, Solo, Spike, slide, Reigns, spin him, 1, 2, 3. Still, you're... Then we saw Carlito, who's ready to face Santos Escobar. You know, my upload schedule was not the best this month. Probably one of the worst months I've ever had, but you know, I don't want you guys to blame me. There's one man to blame. One man only. And I guess you know. And if you're thinking about that person, kind of proves that, you know, I'm right. The reason I didn't upload is one man's fault, and you should blame Santos Escobar. So this was pretty good. This was a match we were supposed to get at one of the papers. I don't remember the name. I think it was Payback. So I'm glad we finally got this match. It's a pretty cool story. And also Carlito wrestling in his shirt during the first half of the match is so illogical. If you have this kind of body, you don't wear a shirt. Me, for example, I should wear 5 shirts just to hide my belly, my boobies, or I should lose weight. That's that's another option. When you got a body like Carlito, you show it off. But we got Elektra Lopez, who kinda, I believe, joined Santos faction, so they have the Zelina, and of course Santos Escobar won. It's kinda weird how this was a go-home episode of SmackDown, but we did get some changes. It's really unexpected. Jimmy asks AJ to join forces and take out LA Knight, because that's what's best for both of them. OC asks what is that all about, and AJ doesn't want to talk. Also, Paul Heyman asked Jimmy Uso to join the Royal Rumble match and win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, bring the world title to the Bloodline. So obviously that is not gonna happen, but I'm glad he's in the Rumble because I believe Jay is going to be in the Rumble too, and I can't wait to kinda, well, continue this rivalry between the brothers, twin brothers. I assume Jay is going to eliminate Jimmy, Jimmy is going to eliminate Jay even though he is eliminated, and you get the idea. I believe that's how most Royal Rumble rivalries start. Again, I love the fact that we finally got this back. We have an explanation how these numbers are being drawn. It's just such a nice little detail. We got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match, and honestly, I didn't expect a title change because these two became champions very, very recently. It seems like WWE are pretty high on them. But we got a pretty decent match, and Bayley's prediction came true. We got the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, which I'm not gonna complain about. Obviously, the championships look a lot more legit right now, and hopefully this is going to be the title reign, because I don't believe these championships ever had, well, except for Bayley and Sasha, a very legit championship title reign ever since, or maybe I'm forgetting something. Bobby and the Street Profits are ready to fight. They're obviously babyface, like this was such a babyface promo, and they want to meet Karrion Kross face to face because that was the promise. Well, we see, well, Karrion's faction, but instead Scarlett decided to go to the ring. Obviously Bobby doesn't appreciate that, and Karrion Kross says, you're standing in front of the most beautiful woman in the world, and we dictate the rules or something along those lines. We're not gonna fight. Well, we are. And the Street Profits attacked Karrion's faction. We got this big brawl, but still Karrion Kross and his buds came out on top. Honestly, I'm surprised, but I actually like them as babyfaces. I think it's working out, and the crowd are really, really behind them. And they had to turn face mostly because of Bobby Lashley. You know, he's a veteran, and for whatever reason, he's very likable and it's hard for people to boo the guy. And I really wanted to see the Street Profits as heels. That was the biggest thing out of this, because obviously we got tired of them. But even though they're good guys again, they're different. It's not just let's make 59 facial expressions, and they actually look kinda badass now. It's like Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory, so I don't know if that's the case, but it seems like Carmelo Hayes is kind of irregular on SmackDown, so maybe he is a member of SmackDown. I could be wrong, man. Sometimes I'm just brings up a question, how am I making videos about this? Look, I don't watch NXT, that's the reason. Well, anyway, we got the match, and of course Austin Theory won with the help of Grayson Waller. Then Austin Theory and Grayson Waller attacked Carmelo Hayes, but we got Trick Williams, so he helped his buddy, and he got a huge crowd reaction, which really made me so happy. I don't want to say it's rare, but it doesn't always happen. When someone jumps from NXT, someone we haven't seen before on the main roster, a lot of times they don't really get a reaction. It's silence. You can hear a fart, you can hear a wet fart, you can hear someone taking a shit, someone taking a piss, drops of urine coming down the stairs. But you know, this worked out. People were chanting his name, and it seems like there's some tension between the two. So for those who watch NXT probably get it, but you know, that's the idea. Speaking of poo-poo, this guy probably took one. And it was time for the main event, Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight. Yeah? It is pretty interesting how LA Knight was the one, you know, that Paul Heyman was the most scared of. I'm not sure why. I do have an idea, honestly. I feel like that's because LA Knight is eating the pin, so they had to make him look strong. You know? Whatever the case may be, can't say it was a bad match, but it seems like something I've been watching for the last 4 months. As much as I like Solo, I think he's definitely overexposed lately. Whatever the case may be, AJ Styles attacks LA Knight. The match ends in disqualification. We see Jimmy Uso. Jimmy wants to tag with AJ. AJ turns on them because, of course, that's the reason why he was injured. We see Randy Orton, and you get the idea. Randy Orton, the Viper, takes out everyone. Because you know, people, he's Randy fucking Orton. So again, I want to end this video with a question. Who's eating the pin. I think the last time I asked, a lot of people said LA Knight, and that's my prediction too, but let me know in the comments below. Right now, comment. Who's eating the pin? And of course, I want to thank you all for watching this video. I wasn't feeling very well lately. I guess I'm just gonna be transparent and tell you that it's not that I didn't have video ideas or anything like that. It's just that I was having rough time, I guess. And you know, it's one of these things where you can't really explain why. I think I told you in one of my videos that I felt burnt out, and I apologize. And a lot of you said, don't worry about it, take care, and I appreciate that. And I absolutely love this audience, and I love the fact that I can just sit and talk about SmackDown, a show I've watched and you watch too. It's fascinating, and for whatever reason you want to hear what I think about the show. Anyway, this shit's priceless to me, so thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and all that shit. The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.